Yo, what is going on today, guys? So like everybody else in the planet, I've been playing Silksong the whole day, so I didn't enter the Frog EX because, Silksong over Pokemon Pocket, bro, no brainer. However, there was a Frog EX, so during like halfway through playing Silksong, like 4 hours in, I was like, okay, let's look at the standings. Probably gonna be suicune, all the stuff like Guzzlord, yada yada yada. What the hell happened during the 6 hours that I was not playing Pokemon Pocket? As you can see here, 3 spicy decks are doing really good. They qualified for Top Cut tomorrow. And let's just look at the first one, bro. So we have Darkrai Weavile at the top of the standings at 7-0. Shout out Jakesu. I probably am pronouncing that right, bro. Am I tripping, or is this the same person as the Pikachu? He did really good. Maybe I'm just tripping, but anyways. Darkrai Weavile is a deck we haven't really seen since Shining Reverie, bro. It was like a deck for space time, and like we kind of did see it also in space time, but I feel like it kind of like fell off, bro. And then it kind of came back for like a little bit at the very beginning of Shining Reverie, and then it just fell off again. And as you can see for the matches, I mean, dude, they just beat everything. I mean, they beat 2 suicune Greninjas. The Dark Tina matchup has always been bad for it. Flareon, Savala Rampardos, which is, Savala Rampardos, if they drop Rampardos, broken deck. If not, kind of an ad deck. Tapu, Koko, or Corio, and it's just crazy, bro. And let's just look at the deck list, bro, because this is actually I don't even know what to talk about, bro. Let's just look at it. So they're playing 2 Weavile EXs, the 1 non-EX. Obviously, this one's going to be for Oricorio, and then they have the 1 Giratina. So it's essentially like a half Darkrai Giratina deck with like the Weaviles thrown in. I don't think they ever played Giratina before in like the Darkrai Weavile. You have Repel, dude. I'm gonna have to make a separate video on this because Rel literally went from like an item that, like, sure, it was played a little bit in ED Crisis, but like it basically went from a card that nobody ever played to being one of the most like staple cards in the meta currently. All thanks to suicune, obviously. Probably have to make a separate video on that topic. However, dude, it's like traditional Darkrai Weavile, bro. You have the 2 Donge of the Guzma Mars, the double Cyrus, bro, and they did play double Cyrus back in the day, bro. Plus, you don't really need it because you have the Repel, so you don't need Sabrina. And then you just have like the 1 giant cape, because you always want like these 140 HP Pokemon to go up to 160 preferably. And yeah, I mean, dude, we saw what they beat. We saw they beat the suicune Greninjas. We saw they also beat Flareon, which is like a deck that's been doing very phenomenal, as well as Darkrai Giratina. Obviously, like Giratina lead, like the Weavile can just go straight through them. However, still, amazing to beat such a bad matchup. And then like these other, electric decks. I mean, Oricorio is probably annoying for this deck because you only have this to be able to beat it. And if this dies, like obviously you have the Dark Red chip also. So Dark Red chip, actually no, Dark Red chip plus is just 1 shot. Never mind, bro. Like that, that's actually pretty good. However, like you still do have to draw it, bro. Like if you don't see like bottom deck, definitely gonna be annoying. However, that's not the only deck. That's not the only deck, man. Like, let's go back to the standings. What does Umbreon do in that 6th place, bro? 5-1. So, either Weighty or Water, bro. Shout out to you. They actually ended up only losing the suicune Greninja, which is, funny. But they beat even, like, stuff like Buzzwole. I'm just going to say, bro, I swear that Buzzwole player bricked. Oh, low key, though. Oh, yeah, but they beat Darkrai Giratina, bro. I mean, they did beat a suicune Greninja. They beat Guzz. Not surprising on the Guzz, low key. And then they also beat Arceus Pichu. And if we look at the deck list, bro, it's like a pretty standard, like it's just like double Umbreon with 4 EVs and the 1 Darkrai, just as an additional attacker for the additional chip. They're not even playing anything like Greninja, which we've seen Umbreon commonly paired with. And they're playing the Sabrina, obviously you don't need the Cyrus's double EV bag, Pokecom, Red, and then the 1 giant keep down here. So the thing about Umbreon, like, yeah, theoretically Umbreon is very good against suicune, because suicune, if they aren't playing like a form of like X-Speed or Leaf, if you can lock in that suicune in the active spot, and they don't have a Giratina building up on the bench, it is going to be very hard for them to build up the injury on the suicune and then another attacker, as this Umbreon is slowly chipping them down. Obviously, this Umbreon only does 40 damage, 60 combined with the Dark Red chip. However, it is still basically rendering them useless unless they're doing Greninja pings, or like I said, having a Giratina be able to swap out. So you can like stall a couple turns. Then you can go into this Umbreon, bro, knock it out, and then just as long as you damage something else, this Umbreon can just bring it back in for the win. So yeah, I understand, like, in theory, because if you think about it, bro, like if we look at all these things, it's just, yeah, almost all the decks are just basic Pokemon. We have Buzzwole, which is like kind of like an anti-meta deck right now. We have Dartina, which is very popular, like Suicune, obviously has Suicune and Giratina, and then obviously like the Guzz deck is only basics, as well as these electric decks such as like Zorora and Oricorio. So like the non-EX Umbreon makes a lot of sense in theory. However, you know, like the 2 retreat costs in both of them and not playing a single form of Leaf, you know, able to be able to swap out is kind of crazy. However, I really enjoy it, bro. Like I said, congrats on doing good. It's kind of funny how like Espeon, like we kind of just see Espeon's downfall, bro. Like I don't even think we have like an Espeon kind of close. Like where is the highest Espeon, bro? Out of curiosity. Highest Espeon is going to be 34th, it looks like. Yeah, 34th. So basically, like Espeon stepped down, let the little brother Umbreon, you know, have some time in the limelight. And yeah, I think it's just hella sick. That's not the only deck though, bro. What the fuck is Solgaleo doing up here? Like right underneath the Umbreon at 6-1. Okay, so yeah, Solgaleo theoretically has a really good Suicune matchup. You know, Suicune likes to attack these 120 HP Pokemon because you can combo out of red. We can see here, they beat four Suicune Greninjas, even a Flareon, which, you know, makes sense. You kind of do one-shot everything in that deck as well if you can get a fast Solgaleo. Guzzlord kind of doesn't really do damage, especially this one, because you have to build up the energy on one single Guzzlord. And then they did lost to Dark-Rock Giratina. I'm not surprised. Dark-Rock Giratina, you know, has always kind of been good at Solgaleo. Either an even matchup or slightly Dartina favored. Depending on how fast you get the Solgaleo, if you can like one-shot something. It's actually something that people have been playing. I have seen this list before. This is actually not new to me. However, I never thought this was actually just going to be played and have success in a tournament. So essentially, instead of the Sylveon package, you're basically, you know, just being able to play these basic dogs and be able to save up some like 2 extra spaces in your deck. So because Solgaleo also switches in for free, you just literally hopefully have entei or suicune in the active. Like, yeah, you're never going to be able to attack with them because this is a pyramidal attack. However, you are just going to keep drawing cards constantly, Brian. It's going to be very easy sometimes to just set up 2 Solgaleos. Obviously, like the Sylveon version is faster, but this one's also more like consistent because you will keep drawing cards as long as they stay alive. So you can see here, they're even writing like a PCO, probably like to let those guys take an extra hit. Besides that, you have the Magernia or Raikou, was like still very popular. 2 Professor Researchers, the 1 red to be able to one-shot stuff. Rocky Helmet, even. How many Rocky Helmets? Just 1. The Pokecom for the extra consistency. Probably to make sure you do find a dog as long as, like, or at least you could find a dog so you can get the draws if you do need to swap into it. And then stuff like Guzma as well, to get like the capes off the 140. Or just like capes, you know, when you need to like remove Rocky Helmet, etc. The 1 Cyrus. Kind of surprised like no Repel or Sabrina, but the fact that they obviously, you know, when 6-1 showcases how Solgaleo can be very strong if you do get the right bracket path. And I think that's just crazy for me, dude. Besides that, like, yeah, so like I literally looked at these standings and I'm like, what the hell is going on, bro? Like, I didn't play the game for 6 hours and all of a sudden we have Weavile, Umbreon, and Solgaleo just suddenly spawned in. The only question is, are these actual, you know, anti-meta decks, or are these decks that just had a lucky run? I think Umbreon, I'm gonna be honest, bro, maybe just a lucky run from Umbreon. I do think Solgaleo is actually pretty good into this meta. Obviously, you know, it sucks against the Oricorio decks, but in theory, like, Solgaleo typically does good into these type of metas, bro. It just happens that Oricorio is also very popular, and because like Magernia is not the best Oricorio killer, like obviously, you know, it's pretty good at it, but like just the 2 energy, man. You know, and like it's like very easy to knock out by something else to have another Ori, which is why I'm kind of like surprised no Sabrina or anything in this Solgaleo deck. I guess you could technically change the energy. Like, I would probably run like 2 dogs. I guess that doesn't matter because dogs can't attack or never mind what I'm saying. Then we also had a Weavile, bro, which I think also maybe it just had a lucky run, bro. Maybe just a lucky day, but maybe because, you know, Weavile can be fast and aggressive, you can like punish like these setup decks such as Suicune. Because if you can like knock out that Suicune very fast before they can take a knockout, and maybe they don't get a Greninja or something, very good, easily knock out the Suicune and like Sabrina into a Froakie or something to get the KO. So or you can just like punish a Froakie for like them starting Froakie, you know, not Suicune or something like that. Or if they start Giratina, you know, you can chunk them because you are the dark type. So yeah, I just wanted to make a second video today where I'm talking about these decks. We also have like a Raikou or Oricorio deck, or our Tapu Koko. I'm pretty sure Oricorio will probably be played in it. No, there's actually not a single Oricorio. That's crazy. Yeah, they just, you know, did good against a couple of these Suicunes. Beat a Dragonite probably bricked is what I'm gonna assume. And, you know, Darkrai Arceus. They didn't face a lot of Suicunes, but they did beat the 2 they faced. You know, like electric. Tapu Koko is like pretty good in the Suicune. Like the only electric type I would say that's really good into them is probably Tapu Koko, just because you can be that fast aggressive. And they're playing this build, bro, with even like the Pikachu for like the one-shot capabilities, right? Like the 2 Aurora for the energy generation. Repel is obviously here, bro, and you know, 2 elemental switches. Basically, if you get like start Raikou, you basically want Aurora elemental switch to be able to attack going second, or just going second on top of Koko for that fast aggression can be very strong. Then you have the Pikachu. Once you have those cards set up, you can start building up. So once like either Raikou or Tapu Koko gets the KO, the Pikachu can just get the end game winning attack. 1 electrical cord even, bro, for just more energy generation, probably for that Pikachu. And then like stuff like Rocky Helmet for that additional damage. You don't really need a cape because all these cards are very squishy. Like cape doesn't really do anything in this deck. The 1 red for the additional damage, the Mars hand disruption, and the double Osiris because we are playing Raikou. Or not hand disruption, but the double bench snipe. So I just think it's a cool deck, bro, that's also being played. I feel like we've been seeing like Raikou, Tapu Koko a lot more lately, especially like this last couple of days. So to see it actually perform well in a tournament, not just only ranked, is just cool to see personally. I mean, besides that, bro, we have like Darkrai Arceus scam making going 5-1. We have like Savali Rampardos, which is just like kind of back. Like it's just like one of those decks. Like if you draw good, you're just gonna draw good, man. You know, get into the Rampardos. So like that's kind of back. I don't know, it's like specifically why that's back. Maybe probably has like a good guys matchup or something. I'm gonna be real, and you know, obviously he's like Savali going second is pretty strong. Yeah, I think that does it for the meta breakdown. You know, we have the Flareon Sylveon deck. I guess I could just see this is like I already mentioned this, you know, in a different video, but this deck is very good in the suicune, as you can see here, they beat 2. I also think it's pretty good in the Guzzlord. I think it's more Flareon favorite than Guzzlord. Obviously, you know, Ground Core can ruin your day. We can just check the deck list. What the hell? Hold up. This is not anything. Okay, I was not expecting this when I saw Flareon Sylveon. So you're playing Pure Fire, you have the Pichu and the Oricorio to stall. So set up energy generation, and then if you start Pichu, you could low-key go in the Jolteon. Never mind. Never fucking mind. I don't even know what this is. I was just actually assuming it was just regular Flareon Sylveon. Now that I'm seeing this, I know we have seen this like a similar deck do good. Repel TV. I'm just gonna say they're cooked, bro. I'm just gonna say they cooked. They got this one. I don't know how to explain this. They're cooking. So congrats to Wind Up Bird, Misha. Shout out to, honestly, that name's kind of gas, bro. I don't know if you guys played Yu-Gi-Oh, bro, but there's an archetype called Wind Ups, and I actually really enjoyed playing them. So yeah, cool name. Anyways, I think that does it for like the little meta breakdown slash meta review. Whatever. I kind of just wanted to make this video because I kind of wanted the yap. And I just saw these decks, so I'm like, I kind of got a yap about them. So, yeah, dude, I don't know, man. Maybe go tech these decks in the ranks, see how they feel. Definitely going to be playing some of these when I do start streaming again. Probably tomorrow, if not Saturday. Low-key Silksong got me in a bind, bro. No pun. So, I'm going to be playing that for a couple of days, dude. Just taking the days off. I probably will stream tomorrow at some point because, you know, because of my hands, I can't play Silksong 24/7. Like, I only played 4 hours a day. Like, you know, between taking breaks. So yeah, peace out, have a lovely day, man, and let me know if you guys like these decks in the comments because I'm just gonna keep yapping if I don't stop now.